Okay, testing 1, 2, 3 on the audio. Let's see if the audio is working out there. Testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, voice audio is good. Okay, we'll get started here in just a minute. Scratchy, okay. Well, that seems to be one of our problems that we encounter, I would say 90% of the time. Let's try this. Okay, let's try this audio. Testing, testing. Is that any better? Testing, testing. We switched out mics. That's a little warbly. Testing, testing. That's much better. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, the audio thing seems to be always a little bit of an issue. Okay, so, all right, we'll get started here in just a minute. No, it is better. Okay, good. All right, well, welcome to this week's Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. It's great to have everybody here. All right, coming to you from sunny San Diego. What a beautiful day today out here. The birds are chirping. Spring is here. So a nice day for sure. All right, so this is a type of webinar where we're going to look up stocks you want to look at. I'm going to share a few that I want to take a look at in the beginning, and then we'll go ahead and go one by one through the stocks that you're interested in. Please type those in caps in the comments area, and then I'll be able to get to see those clearly by doing that, and we'll get going here. All right, hopefully the audio will be good. Let me know if the audio gets bad during the presentation. Sometimes that does happen for reasons unknown to us. But in any case, let us know, and we'll try to fix that along the way. All right, so let me go through some of the administrational items, and then we'll go ahead and dive into the markets. First thing we want to go over are the risks involved in trading. There are risks involved both in trading and investing in the markets. And we work in a realm of probabilities, not certainties. So there's no guarantees. Past performance does not guarantee future performance. So please realize that. Also, too, we're going to be talking about a lot of stock opportunities or stock picks. Run them by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure they're suitable for you. There's many factors that go into that type of an equation. You know, your age, short-term financial commitments, long-term financial commitments, tolerance to risk, etc. So make sure that is A-OK. And then also, too, be sure you're trading with money you can afford to risk in the markets. All right, you don't want to be trading money you can't risk. And then finally, know how to do risk control on each and every trade. And that's a combination of setting stops and proper trade size, which is the amount of contracts or shares you actually purchase or sell when you do trading. So know how to do that. If you need help with that, I've got several books available. The link for these books will be available in the recording section under the description area. So you can check out those or just go to our website or put my name in, Bennett McDowell, in the Amazon area website, and my name will come up with my page here with all these books. So the book I'm recommending is the Money Management for Traders book, second from the right. It's a really inexpensive book, but it gives you what you need to know to start using risk control in your trading each and every day. And then if you want a deeper dive, I've got the Trader's Money Management System on the far left-hand side. That's a pretty comprehensive book. Goes into risk and reward and all that kind of stuff. So you might want to check out that. The other book I'm really excited about in the latter part of this year is my new second edition of The Art of Trading. This is going to include a lot of the new concepts we're applying in today's markets with all the volatility. And it, of course, is going to include a lot of our software techniques as well. Elliott Wave Techniques Simplified by McGraw-Hill. I wrote that for them and published it then. And great book on the Elliott Wave. So if you like that, which is a form of technical analysis, check that out. And then I have the Survival Guide for Traders as well. So those are the books available at Amazon or Barnes & Noble, wherever you go shopping for books. Now, when we look at our charts today, you're going to see software in there you may not have seen before. And this is software I've developed over my last 30+ years trading the financial markets. We have charting software, we have scanners, and risk control software. If you want to learn more about those, I'll also put a link up in the description area for this recording. Also, too, you can go to our website at traderscoach.com or appliedrealitytrading.com and check it out. All right, and then finally, because we're on YouTube as well as LinkedIn and also where are we? Facebook, I guess we're on. We're coming live to you there. The recording will be on YouTube, so make sure you check that out for the recording. And like us, subscribe, and share. And then finally, I know it's Friday. Everybody's busy today. So I want to take a few minutes to thank you for attending. And you guys are a great group of people. We usually have quite a good bit of luck on finding some really good stock opportunities. We found some last week. So let's see what we can uncover this week. All right, let me get out of the PowerPoint here and go into a couple I'm going to share with you here. And then I'm going to look at some that you want to look at as well, okay? So GBTC, I like to always look at the cryptos because that seems to be on everybody's mind these days. And we are bullish on cryptos. Now it's pulling back a little bit. You can see that in this area here. No surprise. I think we were saying, I think over the last week or so, we're probably due for a pullback. And now I think we're getting it. And so this is the target area of this pullback. And we're not quite there, but we're knocking on its door. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down a little bit more, possibly as low as 14. But, you know, it could end at any time. I think it'll probably go down a little bit further. We still have some bearishness out there. So it's looking pretty good. Now, a couple things. If you're new here, you're looking at my setup, my layout. I'm using NinjaTrader, but our software is compatible on TradeStation, MultiCharts, MT4, MT5, and also eSignal as well. And it depends on what platform you want to use. But I'm using NinjaTrader. I like NinjaTrader. I think it's a great platform. And I have it set up so I have 3 charts all showing the same symbol. And you can see here it's GBTC. So I got the 60-minute chart over here for the short-term aspect look. I've got the daily chart here for the intermediate. And then I have the weekly chart over here for the long-term. But it's all the same symbol. And this is called multiple time frame analysis. And I really like this way of analyzing markets because it gives me a clue as to the best time to enter or exit the market. And so you'll see me use this during today's presentation. At the top here, this rainbow colored area, these are our scanners working all the time. We have them running on short-term time frames, long-term time frames, intermediate-term time frames. We won't be using those today because we're going to be basically just fielding stocks you want to look at, but that's what is running in the upper tier up there. And then finally over here is our risk to reward calculator. This is how we do trade size on each and every trade. So it's a part of risk control. And we won't be using that because we'll just be looking up stocks today, but it is used for futures and stocks, and it's a great tool to get the proper trade size based on your entry, exit, account size, and the amount you want to risk on the trade. All right, so that's GBTC. I'm still bullish on this long term. I still think it's going way up, but I do think we're going to have a little bit of a pullback. So you probably want to wait for that pullback to be over. And I would say here at this particular point, since you have so much red here on the 60-minute chart, not quite done yet. All right, so let's hang tight with that one. All right, the other crypto I like is Blocktrain, and that's RIOT. And we're getting a pullback in this one as well. So here we had our first move up, a little pullback into this target zone here, and another pull up. And we are in a major impulsive wave here. So it's going to make higher highs, but short term, it looks like it's coming down a little bit. So again, thanks to multiple time frame analysis and our tools loaded on each chart, we're able to kind of get a glimpse on if the correction coming down is over, and the answer is not, according to the 60-minute chart. A lot of red out there. So that's kind of where we are at that. I want to take a look at USO, which is the ETF for oil. And let's see what's cooking on that bad boy, because we pulled back a little bit on that. We're still pulling back. Look at the 60-minute chart. We still got a little bit of red. So we're coming back. But if you look at the weekly chart on the far right, we're looking at a nice possible big bottom down here on oil. So we think it's on its way up. It's not going to go straight. It's going to zigzag, and we're in the zig of the zag. And we think the short-term target on this in terms of over the next year is about 100 to about 126. So I would say we're probably getting up there into the latter part of this summer. So we're bullish on USO, but also too, we want you to have your stop far enough away right now that if you do go in, you don't get stopped out on this pullback. So I would wait until our 60-minute chart turns bullish. So we're going to put that not on a buy list today because it is in a pullback at this particular point. So that's kind of where we're at today on that. All right, gold. Let's take a look at gold. Gold, the ETF for gold is GLT, and gold is in a slight pullback as well, but the 60-minute chart is much more bullish than the other charts. So, and then we still got green here. So we could make one more high. We did reach the short-term target. So we did get up there, but it's got more room to go. So I think we're going to see some more movement to the upside. One of the interesting things here is that notice that this particular indicator, which is a histogram, we call that the OWL. And this is one of ours that we've developed here. And the OWL stands for the optimum wave locator. It does two things: measures the current Elliott wave count, and also measures momentum. Notice it's saying a wave 3 because this particular oscillator in the bullish zone was higher than this one. So you do not have bearish divergence. So technically you're still in wave 3. All right, and we're getting a pullback inside wave 3. So quite a few more highs left in gold. I kind of, at this particular point, not a bad time to go in. You got green, green, green across the board. I'd probably put my stop somewhere under this area where it gapped open. So right around probably, I'm going to say about 176.21 or 0.20. So definitely check that one out. So that's GLT gold. All right, so the silver market is the next one I want to look at, and that is the ETF SLV. Now, silver's done quite well recently. All right, we waited a long time for it, and then finally, after this pullback, it soared. So we're bullish on silver right now, and it's a long-term bullishness that we are. We think it's going to make pretty good strides back to the upside. And again, you can see this is also in an Elliott wave 3 at this time. So a lot of movement back up. We got green PTFs across the board on the shorter time frames. So we're liking this a lot. Now, you're going to get a pullback on this too. All right. And here's the inflection point. So the difference between this high and this high is going to give you a retracement probably back into the lower 20s. And we're at 22.98. So not too bad. All right, but you want to put your stop, I would say, if you go in long here, right under here. All right, give it enough time, give it enough distance for that pullback. So we're talking probably, a stop right around, I would say, anywhere here to here. Let's put it right on that price bar there. And that has a low in 1972. And so 1971, $19.71 would be a good place, I think, for a stop on that. So those are kind of some I wanted to show you in the markets there, and it looks pretty good. All right, let's take a look and see what we got cooking out there. So Al's with us today. Hi, Al. How are you? All right, CVE. Let's take a look at CVE, which is a stock, of course. And Al, let's see what you're doing. He wants my thoughts on this one. Okay. So again, here's where having the right tools really helps, and also the right display of those tools. And of course, that's where I come in with the multiple time frame analysis. All right, so when I look at this particular market here, kind of, first of all, look at the it's kind of a very volatile market, even when it's trending. I mean, this is a big Elliott wave 3 up here. And then we started moving into the direction here. Now we got an Elliott wave 3 to the downside in terms of a C wave. So basically, when I talk about C waves and numbers, that's Elliott wave, of course. So what do you do with this? Well, here's the issue I see with this. You got a red PTF on the 60-minute time frame. So I'm not going to go long. And that red PTF has a 75% accuracy. It stands for Precision Trend Filter. And basically when it's red, you find the lowest price bar in that red area, and that's this one. So there's a 75% probability we're going below that blue line there that represents the low of the price bar that triggered the red PTF. And so I don't want to go long yet, but if it drops down here, then chances are the PTF will turn yellow, which is neutral, and we can go any direction we want at that particular point. But I don't like to go against it, so I don't want to go long. There's not enough reward there in terms of profit to go short, so I would stay out of this market right now. I wouldn't take any long signals until that bearishness is gone. So could it be a good trade at one time? I think so, because this is green here on the weekly chart, but it has to unwind a little bit further. All right, and just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and draw a fib retracement on this. And it's already hit the target zone. So this may be actually a bottom here, you know, down around 15 or so, or 14 and something. But what we're saying here is it's a little going to come a little bit lower before it turns around. So by using the 60-minute chart with our software tools, all right, you'll be able to time this much, much better. All right, so I like it, but not quite yet. Probably pretty soon it will be ready. I mean, maybe within a week, like. All right, so let's see what we got here. VERU rather. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy. Okay, so this one, Al, we got red PTFs on the weekly over here and the daily. It's too late to go short. The big trend is already down. The pyramids did a great job. When I say pyramids, these are the triangles on the chart by our software tool called the ART software that looks for fractal patterns and trend patterns with momentum in drawing entries. You basically go short at the point when prices go below it, and you put your stop way at the top of it. Okay, so it takes into account the volatility of the pattern. So you're not putting your stop usually too close, okay, at that point. So this has got some more downward move. It's too late to go short. We've had one, two, what do you got, about three pyramids, so don't go short anymore after this. So keep watching it, but it's not quite ready yet, okay? All right, let's take a look at PRST. PRST, right? Not sure that's a symbol there. Let's see. I'm not getting that one here. Let's see. Give me a sec. Let me just see if it's up here. It's loading. Don't know what this one is. Okay. All right. Very cheap stock. All right. So $3.39. So this is not a bad one, interestingly enough, because of the PTF. The only problem I have with this one is those price bars are pretty huge. Okay, there's a lot of volatility in this. So if you have your stop set at any place that makes sense for trade size, it seems like the volatility could take you out on this one. So a little more risky than the others. I guess you got to put your stop under here, and according to this, we're going above here. So let me grab the pointer here and find out. The price, the high on that is 520. So the PTF, all right, on both the 60 and the daily are indicating there's a 75% probability, that's the accuracy of that indicator, that we're going to go above the $5.20 high. All right, and we're at $3.32. Not so bad. But in order to get there, you got to have your stop set at some place that'll keep you in the trade, and that's got to be down here someplace. So, you know, you're talking probably setting a stop at 297. So now your risk, the distance to the stop as compared to the distance to the target is almost the same. So that's called a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So I usually don't take them unless I get a good 1-to-2 in my favor. Okay, 2-to-1 rather in my favor. So I probably would not recommend this, but I see why you like it. And otherwise, I'm not sure how high it's going to go once it passes that target on the PTF. So above that target is no man's land, and I'm not sure where it's going. So I probably would not take this one, but thank you for sharing that. Okay, excellent. All right, how about another one? Anybody have any others? Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Okay, this seems to be one that's pretty popular for the most part out there. NVIDIA was definitely doing really well, obviously. All right, we'll bring up all 3 time frames. It's had a little pullback, which actually, is okay. All right, you get a little bit of that. It's not quite at the target. Now, on NVIDIA here, we have a long-term target here right above here. And this is in terms of Elliott wave. This would be a 3, this would be a 4, and this would be your wave 5 target zone. So your PTF high is right smack in the middle of the wave 5 target. All right. So that's a good thing. But as you can see, this huge run up has had what? On the 1 minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pyramids in a row. We don't like to go long really after the 4th pyramid, because that particular point, you're getting ready for a correction. It's trend exhaustion. And so I think that's what may be starting to unfold here. You can see a little clue of it here on the 60. We have a bearish pyramid, but a green PTF, but a red owl. So basically what that means is that you're in a pullback. Eventually when that ends, you will go higher. Okay, and it usually comes down to an inflection point and before it turns around. Also with the owl, you usually get a minimum statistically of 4 histogram bars in a direction of a color. So in this one on the 60-minute, we've only got 1, so you're probably going to do for at least 3 more. Also, too, on the 1 minute, you have an extended amount of histogram bars here that are bullish. So we're due for a correction. How big will that correction be? Well, let's just quickly draw in some fib retracements here. And I would say probably anywhere from around 229 to 70. The stop on the pyramid is set right at a low of 258.49. And what a great job the pyramids did getting you into that trend. But now here again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pyramids. So it's getting ripe for trend exhaustion. So I would not go long on this. If you are long, you have a decision to make whether to get out of the position trade at that pyramid, or if you got in super earlier and your stop is way down at this pyramid here on the weekly chart, you just stay with it, because eventually it will return and make higher highs. So we're still bullish on NVIDIA, but we're getting ready, I think, for a correction. All right, let's keep going here. All right, so let's see here. SHOP, SHOP. Let's take a look at SHOP, SHOP, and I bet this is for you. So let's take a look and see what this bad boy is doing. Okay, so we looked at this one before. I remember this one here, and it was coming off its bottom. So on the weekly chart here, I think we may have a decent bottom here. Okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm kind of excited about that. Give me 1 second. All right, so bottom here. Let me just restart my drawing tool here. It seems to be acting up a little bit. So much so it's not restarted. Okay, so I'll just use my cursor then. All right, so the bottom here I think is significant. There it is. Okay, move that bad boy over there. And we'll try again. So here's the bottom here. Okay, and we're thinking at least up to this target zone here. So the goal for this is $69.96, almost $70 to almost 99, a little over 99. So we're probably going to return and get up there. It doesn't mean we won't have a little bit of a pullback, maybe something like that. I would wait for this to turn green if you're thinking about a long position. All right, but if you're already in on the pyramids down here, your stops would be right under here at this time. So I think it's looking pretty good. Are you in it already is the question. I think we actually had you long in it last week, right? So that's probably where that is. So I don't see any problem with being in a long position at this point. Just use the pyramids for the stop. Pyramids do a great job of taking into account price patterns, fractals, and also to the momentum that goes into those, right? So the target on that 670 is 99. So that's a big possible potential profit. I like it. Okay, so it looks pretty good. The only thing is I just wait for that owl on the 60-minute to go green, and that's an hour time frame, so it could do that in a day or so. All right, let's take a look at the spider. All right, we haven't done that in a while. SPY. All right, and we'll see what's cooking with that bad boy. All right, so on the spider, you know, we are actually bearish on the markets long term. And if you look at this weekly chart, you can see why. We got a red PTF. We got a high back here that occurred in 2022, which is a wave 3 high on the weekly. So we're in a fairly complex correction now that looks like it's not over, all right, in terms of the long-term forecast. And we have a whole service that basically keeps track of all that called the More and also the Oracle, depending on what service you want. But you do have a green PTF on the daily. So both on the NASDAQ and actually the major indexes like the Spider and the Dow, we think we got another month or two to the upside. I think basically we have an awful lot of long positions currently in the markets. So I think probably another month or two to the upside. We're getting closer to the targets on those ranges, but not quite there yet. So I think your long positions will do really well. And then after that, after we get above, probably looking like around 430 on the S&P for the next end of this bull rally that's in a bearish market. You know, bull rallies can be very powerful in bear markets, but they never take out the wave 3 high. And that's what you're going to see here. So enjoy the rally because eventually it should give way, I think, by midsummer into some extreme selling. So we'll certainly see. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So bullish short term, bearish long term is the best way to put that, I think. All right, now let's take a look at another one for you here, AGYS. AGYS. All right, so this one is fairly extended. All right, Al, are you already in this or are you thinking about going in it? If you're thinking about going in it, don't. Okay, it's too far extended at this time. All right, webcam is frozen. Boy, you're right. Okay, hold on one second. Let's, I'm going to cut the webcam off. Let's do that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, all right, so that's okay. Okay, I'm going to keep it off though. Let's just not mess with it if it's frozen for some people. So on AGYS, basically what you got here is a fairly mature trend already. Okay, fairly mature. Okay, so you're just looking. So don't do this one. Okay, I think it's going to pull back probably to around in the 60s before it will get back above its high. It may go higher one more time, but you don't want to be in it. Look at the bearish divergence here building. You've got, you know, the owl coming down here, pretty extended trend. So I think you can find something better. All right. So I would not do that one, AGYS. All right, let's take a look at CCL for a short. Carnival Corp. All right. So Carnival Corp is coming down. I don't know if you're short on this one yet. But, you know, in terms of a possible long-term position, if you got in here on this pyramid, there you didn't have this and you didn't have this. So a long trade would have been taken here. But again, you got to have your stop down on the bottom of the pyramid if it's a long-term trade. So your stop is going to be currently on this owl way down here at $7.52. and we're currently at 920. Now, if you're thinking about going long, just wait. The short-term charts are indicating red PTF, so we're still on a pullback. You're getting a little pullback, and you get pullbacks, so it's normal. So this is, again, why I like the multiple time frame analysis, because what it does is it allows us to do better timing on our entries. So just hold off a little bit until those lower time frames turn bullish. You you use our software tools, so I know that you can see that on your end on the 60 and the daily. And then take a look at it again, and it should be okay. So I like it for a long position, long term, but for right now, I'd hold off, okay? Just a little bit. All right, let's see what else we got here. So I'm going to put down, we do have shop. Shop was a good one for today already. Let's see about CROX. CROX. Take a look at that one. And looking at it for a long trade. Okay, so again, definitely a long is better than a short, perhaps, but you've already run up so much. So I can't recommend this. When I see a market like this, I do see really significant highs out there at some point, like above 180. But also, too, you're probably going to get some type of pullback at some point. You do have a green PTF. So a better entry for a position trade would have been, way back in this area here, okay? Like right here. Okay, if you took this, you'd have to have your stop pretty low on that. But so you're already 1, 2, 3, 4 pyramids in a row. You've got 2 after the MP corrective pyramid here. So if you went long, this would have been a better entry stop here. Right now, I probably would wait for a slight pullback before going in it. But I like it for a long position. Okay, I do like it. I just think I'd wait for a little pullback on the 60-minute chart to about 134 before going. Okay, so I think you're going to get that. That's CROX. All right, Jim, let's see, SH. Okay, give this a second to load. All right, so what I love about this one, Jim, is look at that downtrend on the weekly chart. Look at that. All right, let's open that up for just a minute because that's worth really looking at. Now, one of the things you want to do, all right, when you analyze markets is try to find, if you're looking at a downtrend, you kind of want to go back and try to find the beginning of the downtrend. And the beginning of the downtrend is way up here in 2009 on this chart. This is the weekly chart. So that's kind of interesting, right? So, that makes sense. The market was high. That's when the bull market started taking off, right? So 2009. So this now has come way, way down. Look at the pyramids, doing a great job keeping you short on this. But now things are kind of looking bottoming. We're starting to go a little bit sideways. So that's kind of interesting and also spells opportunity. All right. Now, notice what you've got here. You've got pyramids here, all right, forming. And these are blue in color because they're called unconfirmed pyramids. They don't get confirmed until prices trigger an entry. So if we go below this one, this will turn red and be another P to the red side. If prices reverse instead and go up, this one will void out. And then this one will turn a bullish P again. All right. So that would be a really good one to take to the long side. If you're in it already on one of these pyramids here, okay, if the lower time frames and everything else put you in it here, well, that's fine. But you want to keep that stop always at the bottom. All right. Always at the bottom. Because you don't want to get stopped out when you're getting into a fresh new trend by the volatility that can occur during a bottoming process. So you got to keep that stop as low as possible. That way, if you get stopped out, that means it was not the bottom. That's where your stop wants to be. So we got a green PTF indicating, hey, 75% probability we're going to get above this mark here. So into the 30s. The question is it done bottoming? And we have bullish divergence building in the owl. So I'm really liking this a lot. All right, let's take a look at the short-term time frames. See if they give us some additional clues. All right, so we got a bullish pyramid here on the 60. That's a good sign. We got a little bit of bearishness here and an active P pyramid. So here's the way I would play this. I would look at SH as, I would put SH first of all on a watch list, okay, because it has potential. And I'd wait for prices to get above the bearish pyramid. So you still got an active short trade in process. All right, it may be close to being over. This could be a bottom, maybe it's not. We got yellow here, so these are neutral. The PTFs are not helping us right now. They're neutral. All right, so we definitely got some pickup over here, but we don't have it here. We have potential here. So I would wait until prices get above this pyramid. I'd wait for this to be green, and I would wait for a new bullish pyramid before going long. You're going to have plenty of time. So I would wait for a bullish pyramid here if it's a position trade, or here if it's a long-term trade. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. So long-term trade, this will turn bullishness if it does at 1772, so another about 3 points or so. Now, if it makes a new low, goes down here, then this will disappear and this will turn P. So you don't want to enter now thinking that that is a for sure thing of that pyramid turning bullish, because we don't know yet. All right, so you definitely kind of want to wait this one out. But I think it has good potential. Just kind of be smart on waiting it out a little bit, okay? All right, thanks for sharing that one. NET for Kevin, NET. Old net. Give that a second to load, Kevin, and we'll get right to it. All right, let me just mess with these indicators down here a little bit. Get them kind of all looking similar. Okay, so NET, all right, let's open up this weekly chart here. Not much history, 2020. Okay, so the only basically thing you can do on this is kind of postulate based on the OWL and the fibs. So in this case here, all right, we were looking at this before as a possible long trade into the target zone here for just a retracement. Now the PTF is saying it's going above here. Okay, that's what that's saying. But to be conservative, if you put your stop, you put your target between 102 and 143. If this is a corrective wave and it's going to come back down, you'll still make a nice profit. But I kind of think this is going to just keep on going, because this retracement was almost to the bottom. So it's not a 4. It probably is a 2. So maybe a 1, 2. And are we on a 3? Okay, that's the question. So there it is. All right. Now you got a pyramid trading point entry here. So I think we talked about that already. So from a long-term trade, it looks great. Okay. And you probably entered it already. Short-term trade, look, green here. All right. Little red here. All right. So if you wanted to wait for this to turn green, you certainly could do so. Plus, you got an active pyramid to the downside. So again, we're kind of zeroing in on when to enter. And from a long-term position, you're good. From a position trade, you're good. From a 60-minute chart, not quite. We're not 100% sure. This little bit of a pullback, and which is, you know, basically this chart is a magnifying of this, okay, or vice versa. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. This pyramid should certainly hold. All right, you can go in now, all right, or you can wait until that turns green on the 60-minute. But in any case, let's put that down as one we like, okay? So I think that's a good one. All right, I don't think that red owl is going to hurt us too much on the 60, because it's starting to move positive now. So I'm kind of liking the net. So Kevin, net is a good one, and it could have really good potential still. All right. All right, let's see who else we got out here. All right, Stu, how are you, Stu? All right, SNOW. Hold on one second. Let's type that bad boy in, SNOW, and see what's cooking on that. All right, so I'm assuming you're thinking a long position. All right, so nice move to the downside. Again, not much history in this. And I really, I don't like to trade too many stocks that don't have a decent amount of history. So what I like about this is we do have a green PTF, okay? So that's a good sign that we should get way up here, above 400 at some point, and it's at 144. So that's a huge savings. Now, the only issue I have is this is a big move to the downside. So not 100% sure where we're at right here. All right, is this a 2? Is this a 1 and an ABC 2 and then a 3? Possibly. All right, but what's the worst case scenario? Maybe this is just a retracement trade. So let's just see on this. Basically, your target is around 221 to 293 if this is a retracement trade only, and then settles back down. All right, so you don't quite have bullish divergence either. You kind of do, but you don't, because you don't have prices lower than here, right? All right, so that's always a problem. So this is kind of an interesting one. You have active pyramids down that have been neutralized now. So basically, if you were short here, your stops would be trailing down from here to here, and you would have been out here at a nice profit. So now things are turning around. So I would probably, let's see what happens with this pyramid. All right, I'd kind of like to see that get triggered first. Well, let's see if the shorter time frames help us out. All right, so you got an MP here. I think you got an active. Well, I think that was taken out. I'm not crazy about it. Okay, I think I'd pass on this one. I think you can find a better one. All right, let's see about HD and see what this one looks like. And give me a second on that. We'll load that one. Okay, so HD looks like a better candidate across the board. Let me just pick this up. Good, a lot more history. Okay, definitely an interesting candidate for sure. So let's see where we're at with this one. Now you have a green PTF on this one, which is kind of interesting. Notice the COVID low did not turn the PTF red. So this is, a whole different animal than looking at the regular Dow Jones or anything. So Home Depot looks pretty good here. I'm trying to figure out if the correction is over, because you can have a green PTF during the entire correction, and then it's right when the correction's over and you have wave 5, right? So you can have that. So we have to determine if the correction is over. So 3 and is 4 over? Well, we have to draw fibs in to start connecting some of these dots and seeing where the possibilities of this being over is. And I do this a certain way. I look for right around here, draw it up to here. Okay, so good sign is that it hit the retracement area. That's good. Check that dot. The next thing I want to look at is this still red? Yes, it is. Okay, so we don't want to quite enter yet. Now, the other thing too is we did get a pyramid trading point here on this. So that's okay. So I guess maybe what we could do is enter here, but put your stop at the bottom. The next thing I want to see is, do I see an ABC? I see a weak one. No, maybe not. This is kind of a little funny. So 1, 2, 3. This was lower low. That's a weak C wave. All right. Usually C wave is much more extended. So I'm a little suspect on whether this particular correction is over, or are we in a B wave? So is this an A, B, C, and then it will go up? So you got to be careful here. So if you don't want to miss the trend, all right, you take that pyramid and put your stop at the bottom, and maybe it's a shallow retracement, and you'll do well. Let's see if the shorter time frames help us at all here. All right, so we've got green here, we got green here, we're bouncing along the bottom. I think I would take it. You got a green pyramid here. So I'll put Home Depot on the list. All right. The only thing is that if you got to put the stop at the bottom of the pyramid here. So your stop would have to be very low here at 265.61. So that's the only thing with that. Now, another thing you could do with Home Depot is do an option play. And we just simply buy a call make it far enough out so you give this thing time to get to the high target range on the PTF weekly charts, maybe a leap or something like that, but then you don't have to worry about the stop. And then you don't have to worry about it going back into the target zone. So I think probably if I was going to do this, when I have a weak wave 4, I would probably at this particular point do an option on this. All right. All right. So that is HD. And then PARA. Okay. Now, I see you're getting some green PTFs in the shorter time frame. This concerns me right here. So this is basically saying the bottom's not in yet. So any move up here is temporary and should result in that coming down. So I don't think I would take any of these. All right. I'm not even sure what kind of retracement trade this would be here. I have to see. Maybe we might have enough, but you see, that's kind of a weird pattern here. So you may get up to maybe 26, 28, 30, okay, which is not bad. All right, it's at 22, 23, but that's probably all you're going to get out of it. And you do have a pyramid trading point entry. So stop here. Let's see where the stop. If the stop went down here at this pyramid here, that's 2071, and the PTF is calling for a high above here at 24. I can't see a long trade here. The risk to reward is not quite there. Okay, so I pass on this one. Home Depot, I like. This one, not so much. All right. So let's take a look. All right. So, Al, are you saying go long or are you saying GO? I think you might be saying GO because you typed that in caps. Let's see what we come up with on that one. Yeah. Okay. GO, I think is what you meant. All right. Let's see here. We got an active pyramid on the weekly. We have no history to speak of. 2 years. We have looks like something coming up off the bottom on the daily, and we've got there. Let me just draw some fibs in for a possible target on this one here. I'm thinking right around there. So there's your target. So depending on where you put your stop here, and you're here. You almost got a 2-to-1 there. So you probably could take that, but you're going against a long-term bear market on the weekly that's may not quite be over yet. It may be over. So I would do half a trade size on this, okay? Half a trade size. So I'd call this a retracement trade to the target zone on the daily chart, and I would do half a trade size. So I'm actually going to put this down as a yes, but the caveat is half a trade size. Whatever your calculations for a full trade size is, take half, okay? That's how I would do that. All right, let's see what else you got here. So that was go, and now we got FRSH. Is that correct? FRSH. Let's see what we got on that one. Sometimes when I type them in, I can't find it, so I got to go to the upper bar. All right, so on this one here, that 15 bucks. So very interesting. Again, goes back to 2015. Big move up, created a green PTF on that big move up. So eventually we'll get a return. So let's see where we're at with this bad boy. We came right down to the bottom here. Okay, so there is a possible bottom. See, even this pyramid, you don't want to put your stop there. Put it at the bottom. On your first initial up, until you get a real nice move, proving the trend is in place, always put the stop at the bottom. All right, so that is possible. We got a bearish pyramid on the daily. We got green here. I wouldn't take this one. There's too many conflicting signals on that. Okay. All right, let's see. Al has PE in PENN, right? And that's for the gaming company. So let's bring that bad boy up. Okay, so again, I like the fact that you're looking at bottoms because that's a bottom. That is definitely the formation of a bottom. So I love that. All right, so it's come all the way down. So yeah, you want to look for a long trade on this, but the problem is you have an active pyramid against you. You still have red here. You have green here. You had a little pyramid here, but you got if you're going to go against that pyramid on the weekly chart, you got to go a half a trade size. And here's the problem. So you got a red PTF on the 60 minutes. So that's showing that you're still going to come down a little bit. I would put this on a watch list. I really like it, but it's not ready yet. All right, I think it's still in its bottoming phase, but when it goes, you don't want to miss it because it'll be a good one for you. But at this particular point, it's not quite ready. All right, so I do like it. All right, let's take a look at LUV. LUV. Okay, once again, looking for a possible bottom. Interesting. Okay, so here you've got a green PTF. All right, tremendous potential on this, up into the 60. That's a 100% return on your money. So that's good. A little bit of red here, but you know what? You're starting to see in this move down, bullish divergence. Good sign. All right. So let's see what this. Okay, they got a green pyramid here. Nothing red down here. Nothing red here. Yeah, I like it. I would take this one. Now, let's see what we got cooking here. Even if it's just a retracement, you're talking 46. So I would take this. Again, I think what I would do is a half a trade size. Why? Because you still got an active downtrend in place on the weekly chart. So when you want to enter early, got to remember that the weekly chart may not have turned yet. And that's okay. All right. But what you want to do because of that uncertainty is lower your trade size because it's not as good as if you had confirmation on the weekly chart. So I'm going to put this down as a recommended one, LUV, half a trade size. All right, let's keep going. ELAN. Okay, another bottom fisher here. Starting to turn up on the 60-minute chart. Now, just so you know, if you wanted to say, okay, I'm going to use the 60-minute chart and take a short, week-long trade, you could do that. Okay, you don't have to. If it's a position trade, you kind of want to have the daily chart, in place there. But if it's not, you could take a shorter term trade. So the retracement trade on this, basically we're looking at 1062 to 1184. You're at 987. You just got to make sure you have the risk to reward. So if you put your stop here, all right, you don't have it. Okay. So on this here, let's see if we have an active pyramid still. Nope, that pyramid was stopped out. These pyramids did a great job getting you short on this. Some decent profit. But this here right now, you're stopped out. So, okay, that's good. So I think I'd wait out a little bit on this and see a couple things. One is you need to have a green out, almost. And if you want to wait for a green pyramid on the daily chart, you could do that. If you want to make this a trade, really short-term trade, you really can't do that because the risk to reward's there. So I'm not going to recommend this one, but I do think it should go on a watch list. Okay, I think it could be ready pretty soon, but things have got to turn over a little bit more. All right, let's take a look at FVRR. FVRR. All right, so on this one here, well, you guys are coming up with some good ones. Not much history, but look, all the way up, all the way down. Looks like the cryptos, right? All right, so now what? Well, it's looking pretty good now. So now we've got a bullish fractal pyramid here. We've got green here, green here, green here, and let's see, messy on the 60-minute. Don't trade it on the 60-minute. See all these spike bars? You can't do that. You have green here, yellow here. That's okay. I think you even got a pyramid here. Yes, this is the best one yet today. FVRR, okay, is a winner. Where is it going is the next question. So, okay, we enter here. Well, the PTF is saying 48, okay, and we're at 36. Not so bad. It stops at 32. But let's see where the retracement possibly could be. So this is not a 3, okay? This is a 1. All right, this is a 2. This is not enough history for it to get a proper gauge on that. So that's a 1, that's probably a 2. So you could get above here. Long term. Let's just see what the fib retracements come out. All right, so that's 117. So I would definitely be all over this. The risk to rewards there on this. Okay, that's the best one for today. FVRR. So you gotta go through the diamonds in the rough to find the good ones, right? And this is what it's all about. You want to be able to take the ones that offer you the best potential. All right, and let's take a look now at TJX. All right, here's another one. Take a look at this. Okay, let's see what you're doing for this. I would not go long on this. Okay, red PTF there is a problem. So I think, you know, when you compare something like this to FVRR, there's no comparison. You don't need to be taking the wishy-washy trades or the trades that aren't as clear as the other ones. Focus on the clarity ones. You'll do a lot better. Okay. Okay. You know, sometimes what happens when you trade, especially when you day trade, you get impatient and you kind of just want to get going, but you gotta focus on the ones that give you the best clarity and the best potential. And that potential is all about connecting the dots of the software. All about connecting the dots. And when you use 3 time frames, if it passes the mustard, so to speak, then that's a high probability trade. So really excellent. Well, this was a great session today, right? Holy cow. All right, so I'm just going to go over the winners real quick. I'm just going to name them out, okay? So our favorite for today is FVRR. The next one is SHOP, NET, and HD, Home Depot. Now, we have 2 that are early entries and require half a trade size, and that's GO and LUV. Okay, so there you have it. All right, Jim wants me to take a look again at FVRR. Let's go back and take a look at that. I can just go up here and get that. All right, let that load here a little bit. All right, so on this trade here, what we really like about it is the fact that it has sold off incredibly, and we're getting a nice bottoming pattern here. So we had a red owl, which is good on the correction, and now when it pulls back out of the correction or the downtrend, then it goes green. That's a good sign. All right, now the stock only goes back to 2020, so we're really not sure if this is a 1, 2, and a 3 Elliott wave, and we'll go above here. But because of the downtrend here, even if this is not the bottom, and this was a 1, 2, 3, then you'll get a 4 into the retracement zone here. And that's 117 bucks. That's well over 100%. That's almost like, you know, triple that. Okay. So that's really good. Now, if this is an A, B, C correction in a wave 2, then it should go right on up and go above the high. So both alternate wave counts result in a bullish trade, one with more profit than the other, but even the lesser of the profits is still huge. That's what makes it so good. Then you go to the lower time frames, and you want to make sure that you don't have anything going against you. And you have a green pyramid here. And then you go here and notice when it was hit, all right, you wait for the green colored owl and it's a go, okay? And the pyramid's close enough to the bottom, I think you can use the pyramid. Here you don't have any short trade in place at all. And this is green and this is neutral. So when you start connecting the dots, they all connect. So the good entry is right now. That's a really good one. And then calculate your trade size. You know, if you have the risk reward calculator, everybody should have that. Then what you do is you calculate your proper trade size so you're not over risking. Okay. Your risk tolerance is always in line. Oh, my pleasure. Good question. If you have it, that means other people have it too. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. What do you think? Good day? What I'm going to do is let's just go quickly to the day trading time frames. And I'll just leave this on for a few minutes with some music. We had a nice little move down on, we like to day trade the futures markets. So that's kind of where we focus on that. So in this case here, got a little bit of a trickle down here on the MGC. Now, again, we use multiple time frame analysis, but this is the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 15 seconds. So a lot shorter than those other time frames. So there you have it. So that is MGC trickling down. Here some more. So if you were short based on the tools, you'd be in good shape there. Let's see what the MES has been. MES has been really kind of interesting lately. A lot of volatility. I mean, look at that. Look at that 5 minute chart today. That's a tough trade. Okay. So what's interesting here, I would not do anything with this right now. You got green, you got red. So you're not connecting any dots. So when the dots don't connect, whether it's day trading or position trading, you just stand down and wait for clarity to return. Probably going to see the same thing on the NASDAQ. A little different, but kind of messy. All right. And maybe we're getting a move up, but if this stays red, we may get a bigger short-term trade later today. All right, let's take a look at gold. All right, I got to tell you, with gold, this is the one we looked at before, but with gold, it was interesting. Yesterday we had a day trading room, and we went into gold, and basically gold trades all day. All right, and then at the close of the market, it takes a break for 2 hours and then resumes. So it was a long day trade, but it was one that actually ended up really well. But if you go into gold, you may have to wait quite a while. Takes a little longer to unwind than some of the other markets. And then crude oil here. All right, we've got some type of pulling out here after a move down. We have a bottom here. So green here, pyramid here, pyramid here. I don't think I'd go into it now. We've got bearish divergence building in here. You can kind of see that right now. So probably, you know, sometimes the best trade is no trade while you wait for the dots to connect, right? That type of thing. All right, well, let me just check the NASDAQ here. Let's see what that's cooking along with. Yes, red PTF there too. So kind of interesting. All right. Well, I don't see any trades I would take directly on the 1 minute time frames on the markets I like to look at. So I would basically probably go get some breakfast and come back and see if things change, because they will change that quickly. All right, that's it for today. I'll leave it on here. I'll put a little music on for those that like to watch the day trading time frames. And thank you for coming. Great session. Really excellent stocks. We found quite a few once again. And we'll be back here next Friday. So thanks for attending, and the recording. We'll put a timeline in the recording by the end of the day. Okay. So you can easy access what we looked up here. All right. So have a good one. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we'll see you next week.